And hello, hello, and hello.
Hello.
I'm proud of my note word right. How
Have you been to rehearsal yet for this week?
I ain't been to rehearsal yet for this week. Where's my tea? Okay. But how y'all doing on today? I hope y'all are doing well and swell on this Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you all. The weather is breaking. Baby, I am enjoying all of this 70-degree weather. Okay. And I cannot wait to come out these sweaters. I cannot wait to put on me a cute little sundress, cute little sandals. I am ready for the weather to break. But we're here to talk about the weather report, child. We're here to get into can you do some things or not, all right? But before we get into our conversation, you guys already know what to do. Let's get our church announcements out the way and let's go through them. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, okay? Drop that in comments. Let us know that you are here and supporting us. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please go over and do just that. My channel is Deep Conversation with Sean, and Miss Dina's channel is Journey with Dina. Okay, so go on over yonder and subscribe to our channels. Share it out. Do all of the things. Okay. Now we got the church. Am I missing any more church announcements? Oh, one more thing. Next Tuesday will be our last show for season 1. Our podcast for season 1 will be wrapping up. So, depending on how this conversation may go, this may be part 1 and part 2 for next week. If we can round it out tonight, we'll have a different subject on next week, but next week will be our season finale for the Let's Unload podcast. Okay. So if this is your first time joining us, welcome. And I want you to go and look at the episodes 1 through 7. What episode we on?
We're on episode 9.
9. So go through 1 through 8. Okay. And go over there. What our podcast is about is we are talking about the hard conversations that we do not normally hear. And there are so many podcasts out there, but they're all coming from a toxic standpoint. Okay. Yes, I said that word. Everything is about me, myself, and I. If I don't fool with them, I ain't studying them, and we're not pushing that agenda. Everything that we're pushing is, I don't want to use the word pushing. Let me not say that. But everything we are talking about and speaking about is Christian, how God would intend for us to move in life. Okay. So how you doing, Dina? I got the church announcements out the way. But I ain't got no more. Come on, what you got?
I am doing great today. How about yourself?
I am doing well, baby. I'm be even better when I get my hair done. Okay.
You and me too, girl, because baby, that workout this morning, baby, these edges, they was a little rough earlier today. I had to get myself together for tonight, because baby, time for the braids.
It's time for some braids. At first, I was going to keep this again, but y'all know I have short hair. Y'all know my hair is short. And I was like, baby, this hair getting on my nerves. Hence the reason why it's pulled up. I said, baby, I am tired. And at first I was like, because I even told Dina, I said, girl, I think I'm going to come and give me a little bob action. And now I'm like, I don't want none of it. I'll go back to being a bald head scallywag.
No, now.
I don't want none of it.
No, not the scallywag. Now, I would take a bob because I am a bob lover. However, when we out for the next month and a half, because I'm trying to get this jumpsuit for this party that I'm going to next month, I'm going to need to get some braids because I ain't going to have time to keep slicking these edges down.
Okay.
I'm going to just get some braids just for a hot second.
Okay.
And then, I'm about that bob life now.
I love a good bob too. I feel like you can never go wrong with a bob.
No.
So, okay, let me ask you this. Is that your go-to hairstyle?
Yes, it is. I told my hairstylist, when I die, I want a bob. He was like, fool, nobody gonna see the back of your hair. I said, turn it sideways.
No, not turn it sideways.
I got the bob, and I like my bob asymmetric. Short on this side, long on this side. Gotta have that sexy piece right there now.
So do.
Style.
And that's me, baby. I don't do bust downs. I don't do bust downs. All I want, give me my part to the side. Y'all can have them bust downs. I don't want it. I don't want it.
What? G baby, yes, honey. When I die, put me in that casket with that bob. Okay? And see my neck. I need them to see that I got a bob. If they gotta turn my head every so often so they can see.
So they need to get up and turn your head, ma'am. No, ma'am. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. No, we're not. We're not doing this. Just a no.
Okay. But I'm gonna have a bob.
You still want your bob?
I'm gonna have a bob. They better put a wig on it. But you're gonna and tuck it behind my ear, right here on this side. This gotta be my short side right here. Long. Oh, that look kind of cute. Yeah, this is my next hairstyle. Like that. Yeah. Bob it is, G baby. I'm telling you, bobs do not ever go out of style.
I agree with that. A bob is always my to-go hairstyle. I love me a good bob. You can never go wrong. It's timeless. It's class C. You know, I love a good bob. So I'm sure I get back to the bob life. But as of right now, I don't want no her. And yes, I said her. I don't want none of it. I don't want no hair, baby. I'm tired of scratching my head. I don't want no more. Okay? We 10 minutes talking. Do we got an icebreaker? Did we use the hair as an icebreaker, friend? What is it?
I had a little icebreaker, but baby, we can use the hair as an icebreaker.
The hair was an icebreaker. Okay.
So y'all said she love bobs too now.
Okay. Y'all drop down in the comments, ladies, and let us know what is your to-go hairstyle. Just without a shadow of a doubt, it is always going to work. Okay. So let's get into a situation. Y'all remember that song? Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Okay. Let's have the conversation. But before we do that, let's speak to the people. Let me not be rude, okay? Because my mama taught me some manners. So let me speak to the baby. Shout out to my girl G baby, who baby. She said, "Hey Sean and Dina, hello M Phrase. I hope I said your name right. If not, help me, friend. Correct me."
That's Naylo. Hey, Naylo.
Naylo, okay. Shout out to Pisces Alive. She said, "Hey, Sean and Dina." G baby, who baby said, "I love my bobs too." Bobalina, shout out. Okay, so y'all jump out in the comments. Let us know who we talking to. Share it out. Do all the things. Now, our topic for today is, can you be celibate or abstinent and date someone who's not? Is there a world where person A, who ain't rolling around in the sheets, meet person B, who want to roll around in the sheets? Do they have the potential of having a relationship? Because here's the thing, somebody is going to bend. Who it's gonna be? So first, let's answer the question: is it possible? So the people that's on, y'all jump in the chat. Tell me, what do y'all think? Do y'all think it's possible for an individual to date someone who's not on the same journey as you, especially when it comes to sex? Okay, Dina, I see you moving. What's your church figure going on?
Okay, so first of all, let me run it back for you for a minute, right?
Okay, all right.
A couple of weeks ago, I actually looked up the definition of celibacy and abstinence, right? Because I'm like, what's the difference? So when I looked it up, celibate was more long-term, like people have been called to celibacy, like maybe nuns or priests, meaning have no desire and have agreed or are willing to cut off sex long term.
Correct.
and it's a lot to do with religion as well, right?
Okay.
So abstinence is abstaining from sex due to kind of different reasons. Some the most talked about one was until marriage, or they had some that abstaining because they didn't want to get pregnant. But for the most part, it was abstaining until you get married, right? Because though abstinence is a practice, I think celibacy is kind of you done already made up in your mind, and now I'm good on that, so I'm just good. Celibacy is a different route. I think it takes discipline for the most part of, I think once you get into it and then for your different reasons, it becomes easier. I will say that. However, can an abstinent person date somebody who is not? I don't know. I mean, they can, but will it be successful? So I don't know if it will be successful because I don't know, but it's a lot of variables in that. So I know even for me, I'll say even there has to be boundaries first off, doing abstaining, right?
Okay.
It's a whole lot of boundaries that you have to have in place to try to protect yourself as much as you can, right?
Right.
And a lot of those consist of planning. Like, baby, you can't do no Netflix and chill. Cause after so long, like you said, somebody's gonna pull somebody to the other side. Either you gonna pull them over or they're gonna pull you over. And then it's because if they are comfortable saying that and they say that they're gonna, I don't know if they're gonna say that they're gonna be celibate or abstinent, or if they're gonna say, well, I respect you in doing that, but that ain't what I want to do. So then you have the option to either see if it's gonna work, but I think it has to take a mature male, because I'm a woman, to say that they are able to do that. And then if it comes to the point where they feel like they can't, to have that conversation, be like, look, I tried it, I ain't gonna be able to do that.
So here's my before I say this, let me read some of the comments. G Baby said, I think it is possible to date, but I don't know how it would work out for sure. Then she came back and said, or just wanted to find someone who is serious when you take sex off the table. You will have to tell that person and see if they still deal with you. And then she ends it with, yes, Dina. Okay. So shout out to G Baby Who Baby. G Baby Who Baby always comes with it. So here's my thoughts. I agree. I'm just going to say affirm no. I do not know or think there's a world where somebody can date the other person, and if they're living this lifestyle of sex and other things, eventually the person who's not doing it will always be in. Here's why. Because the Bible tells us that the flesh is what? Is weak. The Bible tells us that the flesh is weak. So with that, it is just as, and let's just take sex off the table and let's just use another scenario, which is alcohol or drugs. If I'm a recovering alcoholic, right? I went through the program, I've done my 10 steps, I've done all the things, and my goal in life is to remain this way, or get to a point to where I can socially drink, or get to a point to where, if it's a wedding, whatever the case may be, I can drink a sip or a glass and I ain't got to go to the liquor store and buy a mouth, right? You can't hang with people who go to the bar every day. You can't hang with people who want to go to the liquor store every day, because eventually your flesh is going to start to give in, and you're going to be like, and then that's when that devil gonna whisper in your ear, oh, it's just a sip. Oh, it's somebody's birthday. It's okay. It's a celebratory situation. And the same thing, in my opinion, comes with sex. Eventually, guess what the devil gonna say? Oh, it's just a little kiss. It's just a little rub.
A kiss ain't sex.
What I'm gonna tell you, kiss to get you pregnant.
No, that is not true.
But being serious though, but I am being serious. You know, it will become a part and come a time to where you're going to start letting your guards down more and more and more. And I love Living Single. Living Single is one of my favorite sitcoms. And do y'all remember when Khadijah, old time friend, came in and they were going out scooter? Mm-hmm. And they went out and, you know, she came home late and they was like, where you was at? You know, and she was like, you got this glow about you. What happened? And she said, he kissed me and my clothes fell off. I laugh so hard every time she say that. I think that is so funny. She was like, he kissed me, clothes fell off. And I'm saying that because eventually the more you hang with each other, the more you get in a more intimate situation. Our body is designated for sex. It is what it is.
That is true. However,
around it, you're going to bend.
I mean, but that's where I feel like boundaries come in. Like, no, when we go out, we going out in a setting, and I think you can even sometimes have dates at home, but it still has to be very intentional. Like, we can't be watching though. But I think that comes with discipline and self-control, because it has been done. I don't know how long it will work, but I think that's when
then it's not done. Then it
can't be done. You don't have a time frame, so you don't know. It could be they could actually meet. He could be celibate, or no, I'm saying not celibate, abstinent,
right?
And she might have sex, so they might actually come together, start talking, and you know, she might kind of be like, okay, you know, I kind of like him a little bit. So let me kind of, you know, see what this is. Let me see if I can do this. I mean, but that would be a choice I feel like the other person will have to make on their own. And then it depends on where their future going.
I think, me personally, I do think that some things should be established up front. You know, hey, this is my lifestyle. I don't intend or plan on, you know, having sex until marriage, woo, woo, blah, blah, blah. And like what G Baby said, from there, you know, once you make it known, if the person is willing to stay, there's one thing. If they count it a blessing, be like, all right, okay, you weren't meant for me, no way. Right. But even for the people who decide to stay, I think sometimes, whether it's the man or a woman, they make it their life mission to be able to get Dina to bend. Oh, she's telling me, no, don't worry about it. I get her. And matter of fact, let me put a time frame on. I'm get her in a month. You know, sometimes, and I think we have to be careful with that, because people will make it their life mission to try to get you, because they gonna look at it as a game.
Right.
Oh, she say she don't do this, or he say he don't do this. I bet I'll make them bend. Oh, I bet I'll make her bend, and all of that. And I'm with her. It is playing with fire. I don't know if there's a world to where you can be able to date somebody who don't have the same goals as you. I don't know if that world actually exists. And like you say, even if you do it, you don't know how long it lasts. So because we have to add that caveat on there, that means it's not a successful situation. Even if y'all lasted 3 months, even if y'all lasted 5 months, eventually, because this person, whether it's the male or the female, isn't living a lifestyle of abstinence, they're going to either get tired or gonna want to push you to the point to where you gonna give in. They're gonna leave, or they're gonna push you in for you to give in, because they're not living that lifestyle. That, again, let's take everything off the board. Let's remove sex and make it about something else. if I want to be an entrepreneur and you're content with being a 9-to-5 worker, guess what? We ain't on the same page. You're not going to understand where I'm coming from. And we can still coexist. We can still coexist. I'm not saying you throw everybody away, but there's still going to be dialogue that the person that's entrepreneur will talk that the 9-to-5 don't understand, and vice versa.
I don't agree with that one, because you can be a entrepreneur, I can be a 9-to-5, but you can inspire me to show me a different light that I've never seen before. So I might be want to be like, oh.
And bingo. And thank you for saying that. Because take it and tie it back into the sex. Somebody is going to bend.
But that can still be either way. So it's not 100% guaranteed that they can pull them to having sex, because sometimes you can pull them to not having sex. We don't know. I just feel like it's now what I don't know if I probably ain't gonna set myself up for that, because I know my boundaries, but I can't, because like I said, it can go either way, but it depends on the people. Like, some people are mature enough to say, hey, look, I ain't doing this for whatever time, and you can have the influence, but I ain't gonna say it's always on you. It could be how they see you. It could be how they portray, see your lifestyle, how you doing. You can sway them as well, but it is playing with fire, because I ain't gonna say it could backfire on you, because you just don't know. So as I always say, you're gonna have some discernment. You're gonna have to have some discernment too, and you can't. Some things we set ourselves up for.
I agree. Now let me say this. I do think that in this, us having discernment and us having boundaries and all of these things, I do think that we as people, whether we the man or the female, we play God a lot and we feel like, oh, if I do this, it's going to work and make them do it. There's nothing that we're doing on our own accord. That'll take God to be able to change their heart, soften their heart, and purify their heart to be able to wait out with the other individual and with the person. I don't think that's a self thing, because
it can be. I feel like it could be a self thing.
No, because then we're getting to the point to where now we're going to take the glory from God, and it's going to be me because I'm living such a good life, and I'm this person, and I'm that, and because I'm this good person, that's why they decided to do this. I think when you start playing with fire a little bit like that,
I disagree with that one, because I ain't playing God. I ain't playing God. It's just like, like I said, if you was a 9-to-5 and I'm an entrepreneur, I've inspired you to want to do something, to create some stuff, or bring out your gifts and talent. God used me to help you see some things. I ain't playing God by saying, oh, I did this. No, I just share with you my journey or the things that I've learned or what God has shown me, but it's not about playing God. I don't think that is.
And so the reason why I said that is because here's the thing. It's going to become the words we used was, if I, excuse me, if, they looking at me and I can be the one to change them over. We don't do anything because it's by God's grace that we up doing whatever it is that we're doing. So that's what I mean by we got to be careful about certain words, because sometimes we can't take God's glory, and especially when it comes to sex. Because I'm still in the flesh myself. So if I'm still in the flesh myself and I'm still having to pray and say, Lord, give me strength, me do all the things, and I'm having to pray for it, how am I able to have this person to do it? God's going to have to do that. Do that make sense? That ain't my own thing. That's going to be God having to, strengthen them if there's something they want to do. But
but God's still having to strengthen you. You're not doing this on your own.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
But God, He gonna do the same thing for you that He can do for another person. So just because God gave you strength to do it doesn't mean that God can give them strength to do it or whatever. And like you said about, I had to even learn about like trying to, when you said that all the people that can change them is God and their heart, that is true on a whole lot of things. However, you can influence people to do other things, and not saying that God made them do this. I think because one of the things that I had to learn or even learn at this age was how, you know, we say, oh, well, now they said this, but they ain't really mean it. You know, I'm gonna wait them out, or now they gonna change their mind. No.
Mm-hmm.
They said what they said, and the only other person who can change that part of them or how they feel is this, what's the scripture? The God has the king's heart in his hand, he can turn it whichever way he wants to.
Right.
Now on things like that, absolutely. But I just think it's a kind of, it's a fine line, but it's gonna call for a lot of Jesus. I ain't saying that I would do it, but somebody may have been successful in doing it. I don't know if they have.
Now, don't get me wrong. I do think that there are times where, or situations where people have been like, okay, this did work for me. You know, he was abstinent. I didn't, you know, I wasn't on that journey, and I decided to take this journey with him, or vice versa. You know, the male wasn't and decided to take the journey with the female. And the reason why I'm saying and bringing up God's glory and all of that, let me clear this out. Let me, you know, make it plain. When I say that, I mean it in the sense of, I don't want us as humans to feel like we have done so much that we persuaded this person to do something, because we're still in our flesh ourselves, and we're still going before the throne, and we're still praying, and we're still doing the things to, you know, as you know, have God to strengthen us and help us in what we're doing. So if we're asking for these things, it is hard for us to feel like we can persuade somebody else in the sex department. Everything else, okay, I can give it to you. In the sex department, because our body is designed for sex, we're having to pray on our knees and keep us and keep boundaries and do the work. You can't do the work for somebody else and for yourself. And so that's why I'm saying that, no, it's going to be hard to do, because while you trying to pray for them, you may be lacking for yourself. And now your walls are falling down and your flesh is getting weaker and weaker. So if you put yourself in that situation, somebody is bound to bend. Somebody going to get pulled. So it's almost setting yourself up for a little piece of disaster. Again, there are situations where people will be like, oh, we actually made it work. So I'm not saying that it's impossible. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying if we're already going through the journey ourselves, it's going to have to be, Lord, you're going to have to touch them. You're going to have to do your own thing. God going to have to do that for them. Not me and you. Because we always say too, everybody that's in the church, when we go to heaven, you can't go on my you know, my coattail.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take you with me. Everybody gonna have to account for themselves. And I think it's the same way when we're entering a relationship where sex could possibly be on the table. That's a lot to try to hold on to. And when you get the holding hands and feelings get involved and emotions start getting involved, it's something totally different. Walls do start coming down. Have you heard of Jess Whitney or Jess Whitty? She's the lady, her wig fell off when she was on Dear
I just watched that podcast the weekend.
Yeah, okay. So she was in that situation to where she's not anymore. She's married now, but she was at the time a virgin, and her then husband or boyfriend, now her husband, he wasn't. But the reason why it worked is because he was pursuing this as well, of being abstinent, and he was pursuing more of Jesus and more of Christ, and he's looking for a wife. So it ended up working for him because he wasn't a virgin. She was the only one that was a virgin in their relationship.
So it ended up what?
Huh?
So it ended up what?
So what?
Did you say it ended up working for them?
But you missed my part.
No. But did you say
No, because you're missing the key point. Because he was already working on himself. If you're meeting a Joe Blow off the street who is a lukewarm, he don't go to church but on Christmas, Easter, and Mother's Day, he's not.
Oh, but who said that he was that?
Who?
I'm saying, who said the person was that? So you're saying if it's the average person that's not going to church and all these other things, then it would not work. However, if he's a person that's trying to be on that journey, but he's not all the way there, but it works. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying because he was already pursuing his own relationship with God, that's why it worked. If he was a regular blow Joe, and forget church, because people go to church and they the biggest hell raisers on earth. So I don't give a darn about people who sit up in church every day. I'm talking about relationship with God. Right. That's where the difference come in at. Right. He was already building his relationship with God. So because he was already building his relationship, she didn't have to do so much to keep up boundaries because there was an agreed thing that he had already, because if you listen to the podcast, it was like, dang, this was working out and we didn't even know it. Which was, he was already working on his individually self. That's why it ended up working. But if I'm coming in, I'm a man. Let's say I'm another Sean, SHAWN. I'm that type of Sean. I'm a man. And I'm pursuing Dina, right? I'm pursuing you.
Well, first of all, you got to stop right there at the front door. Because first of all, when you meet them and you have that conversation, you already gonna know what it is versus being in relationship and religion and all that with them. Now, if I know that I'm a Christian, that I'm trying to live a certain type of way and do certain type of things, then I'm not gonna entertain certain type of people, period.
Right.
So that cuts out Pookie them, because Pookie them ain't finna, we ain't got nothing to talk about now.
Mm-hmm.
Not in this stage of life, we don't.
Right.
So he gonna already, like she said, he was on his own journey. So when somebody's on their own journey and they're building their own relationship, because that's number one for me. You gotta have a relationship with God, your own self, right? Because for me, God can convict you better than I can.
Yeah.
Because I can say whatever I can say, and you might get mad for a minute, but baby, when the Lord convict you and bring some stuff to your remembrance and get you how he can get you, he'll straighten you up real quick. But that comes with relationship. So number one, they should have a relationship with God, or else we ain't got nothing to talk about, period. And ain't, like you said, ain't got nothing to do with, but we have to learn the difference, because I've just learned this as well, even within this last time, about it's a difference in relationship and religion. We're always being taught religion, where you're supposed to do this because of religion. No, it's about relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a religion because you go to the church. Like you said, baby, there's plenty of people in the church that's, you said, what now? You go to what church? You acting like this? No, it's about religion and relationship. Because when you have that relationship with God, even you, he'll convict you to do some things. Like even with you being married, you might do something to your husband, the Lord come back and get you that, Sean. You know that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
With your husband, I said nothing. He went on about his business. He ain't thought nothing about it. But the Lord is, baby, Sean, you know you was wrong. You know you ain't do this right. You know this, you know that. And there you go. You got to go back and fix it. So that's number one. But I ain't gonna say I would try it unless, like we said, he was on this journey that he might have, and then that's another thing. I know everybody know, especially the Christians know, that we're supposed to abstain from sex until marriage, right?
Right.
But people have been so hard growing up on people who have sex. Oh, they going to hell. Oh, they doing this. Oh, they doing this. Oh, they didn't get pregnant. Oh, this. Oh, that. That God is Come on back, baby. Get it right.
He's married to the backslider. Sit about. He's married to the backslider.
Come on, let's fix this. Let's start over again. Let's try
Mm-hmm.
this. Well, we be so quick to throw you out because they did this, but it's a lot of stuff people did that we don't know nothing about.
But you know what? I also think too, though, sex is such a taboo subject, especially in the Black community, and not only in the Black community, now in the church community. We do not talk about sex. It's like the unforbidden spoken word. Don't say that. Don't do that. Just know that you do it when you get married, and that's all you got. And that don't always work. You know, it's okay to have the conversation. And I think, let me say this, while we're talking about celibacy and abstinence, I feel like that's why people don't know the reasoning behind it, because we're just shouting, don't you have sex? Don't you have sex? Don't you have sex? And you're not talking to them as to why you're telling them to abstain, or what's the reason for abstaining and doing these things. We got to get to the point where we got to stop talking at people so much and start talking to people and tell them this is the reason why. The reason why God ordains marriage to be between a man and a woman for marriage. Sex is for us to reproduce, to be fruitful, and we multiply. Also, we're getting into a lot of things. Sex is creating soul ties with people. It's creating soul ties. You're taking this baggage everywhere you go. Then we also have the conversation, which is, oh, well, I need to know what I'm getting before I'm getting into it. But if the goal is marriage, baby, you got your whole life to figure this thing out. There's nobody going to go and get they used to do it, but I say this, you know, everything that you do is on the job training. Being a mother is on the job training. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care how many baby dolls you get. Nothing is going to prepare you for being a mother. It's going to be as you go. Marriage is on the job training. It don't matter how many books you read, how many podcasts, including hours you listen to, it's on the job training. You got to go through it. And we're wanting to have all the sex down pat so he can know how to do it and I can know how to do it. But why? Because what you would have to look forward to in year 5. Why you want to have something complete and we're supposed to be married forever? We can learn each other. It's a forever thing. Even if you are a virgin, he a virgin, y'all figuring it out. That's what married couples do. You figure it out.
Figure it out.
You got your whole life to figure it out. And just because you test drive it, and let me say this, let me preach a little bit. Let me teach. I ain't gonna say preach. Let me teach a little bit. The devil always use sex as you need to be free and have all the sex and don't let nobody tell you what to do with your body and do all the things, right? Because marriage is ordained by God and it is honorable in God's eyes. What is the first thing that dries up when the couple get married?
Sex.
The sex life. It is the very first thing that dries up. It is completely gone. Just like that. Why? Because you have made something legal. The devil operates in illegal things all the time. You have made something legal. So once it's legal, let me get this lust demon up off of you, and now it's not there anymore. And now you're trying to introduce all type of stuff because you're trying to get back to what you had at first. He don't want us to do with you no more. He did all he needed to do in the beginning. And now he gonna start working so because now you're ready to get a divorce. And now cheating finna ready to get involved. And now, now we finna add on all these other problems. Sex is something to be endured by your partner in marriage. And I think it's okay to enjoy it. Now, I always give a transparent moment. Let me give my transparent moment. I was not a virgin when my husband and I met. Let me give another transparent moment. My son is 19 and baby, we only been married going on 13 years. Okay. So if you know how to do easy math, clearly we did the stuff out of order. All right. Clearly we did it wrong. But here's the thing, and the brighter side of that. Even in me doing things out of order and we did not do it right, how God intended, let me say it that way, God still came in and blessed. Mm-hmm. And when you give your life to him, and I'm gonna do the altar call, when you give your life to him and completely surrender unto him, he can renew it. And it'll be just like it never, it'll be a fresh and a renewing. But I do want us to get out of this mindset that we got to have sex with everybody and I got to get all this stuff off and then we got to do all of this, because you're creating so many soul ties with so many people that you don't even realize it. And you still empty after you did all this sex. That's the crazy part. Now we got all off subject. The Lord took me there, so I just went ahead and went with it. However, long story short, my personal opinion is I don't think that a person who's practicing and having an absentee lifestyle should date someone who's not. I think it is a recipe for disaster. I'm not saying it does not work. I think it's a recipe for disaster.
Said nothing. I ain't said nothing because it was, baby. We have to have some deep conversation, like deep conversation with Sean. We have to have some deep conversation about that because I just know it's listen.
But let's be honest. Again, we shy away from sex. Oh my God, what is it? Because God intended us to have sex, we're going to have desires.
Right. But I think a lot of that comes from even growing up. Like our age and our parents' age, they didn't talk about no sex and all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But all thing they talked about was don't have sex because you're going to get a baby. There is more that comes with sex than having a baby.
Sure is.
I remember we went on a youth trip and they passed around a book that had all kinds of STDs in there. Mm-hmm. It's more to sex than STDs.
But how about this? Let's take away the babies and let's take away the disease. How about the emotional STDs?
And that was my next thing. And that to me is worse than a baby, because now you feeling all these types of ways you don't know what to do with because they done told you don't have sex and you done had it. Now you won't know why is you crying all the time? Why is you checking your phone trying to call the person, they ain't answering the phone? What is going on? Why am I feeling this type of way? Like the emotions be running, you be cuckoo at your Cocoa Puffs. But I feel like if they would just sit down, which I know a lot of it comes from they didn't get that talk. Correct. When they was their age. So you can't give something to somebody that you didn't have. Mm-hmm. So I give them a pass. Correct. To a certain extent that they did what they could. Mm-hmm. However, I feel like it's up to the next generation to have that conversation with your girls and your boys. Because back in the day, we used to be able to go over, spend a night over people's house and do all that kind of stuff. No, ma'am, not today. They used to mess with little girls all the time. Then it started being boys more than girls. Mm-hmm. So even at a young age, they need to have conversations. Yep. I mean, my mom used to ask us every night we took a bath, anybody message you? Yep. Mm-hmm. This lady keep asking me this same question every night. Do people want to touch you or something? But that was the farthest thing from my mind. But this was happening in people's houses. So I think sex has just been misconstrued for a long time. Mm-hmm. And like you said, nobody wants to have the hard conversation, especially in church. Yep. Well, that's where it really needs to be, because it kills me how we're supposed to learn and do so much stuff for the kingdom and in the kingdom, but we're not getting the tools that you need inside the kingdom. Nope. That's what the kingdom is for. And I told this lady, I was like, I feel like when you're preparing to get married or even getting married, that just my personal experience, I feel like I want to sit up under and see what I desire to be, right? Mm-hmm. So she was like, well, you shouldn't just put it all on like the church to pour into your marriage. I said, why wouldn't I? If marriage is kingdom work, why wouldn't I get the tools that I need in the kingdom?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of getting off somebody off the street or somebody that's not in church, because they're going to give it to me raw.
Mm-hmm.
But in church, you could have gave it to them a different perspective. Baby, if you need to pull the scriptures out, if you need to do whatever it is, if you need to do the pictures or whatever. But I feel like that's where it should come from.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't make sense to me. And once I broke it down to her and told her that, she's like, oh, well, yeah, you're right.
But here's the thing, because I think when you go outside, now, okay, put the babies to bed, because I'm finna say something. Put the kids to bed, because I'm about to say something, okay? When we go to outside source that is outside of the church or what you're saying, you start getting worldly things. Mm-hmm. And when people tell you to introduce the rose and introduce this sex toy and introduce these things, let me tell you why it is a horrible reason to introduce sex toys. Because your partner is not a machine. What that sex toy do, you would get so dependent on the sex toy that most people can't, after they have sex with their mate, they're going right back over there to their toy to get them what they're looking for. Oh, this is real stuff. They're going to the toy to get what they're needing because they have self-relied on their toy so much and their body got used to this. So when it's time for natural, God-ordained interactions, it's not feeding them. It ain't enough. It's leaving an empty void. It's leaving a bad spot. So now they're having to go back over here and it's not working. So we do have to be careful about adding other outside sources in because it can give you bad information. Wanting to bring in another partner. Why? There you go. We're adding in worldly stuff. Get a toy. Add in another person. Watch some porn. Like when you start adding all of these things, you're making it to where me and my husband isn't enough. That we got to add in other stuff. And that becomes dangerous grounds that you're walking on. If my husband can't get it up because he got to watch another couple have sex, baby, we got a problem. We got a problem. I'm sorry.
And you definitely not another person. I'm going to get this wig. It's going to be red, ruby coming in. But you talking about another person, then you wonder why, because you done open up Pandora box.
Open up Pandora box.
No.
Yep.
We do too much. We see too much on TV. They just be all, I be like.
And me and Dina was talking about this off camera last week, talking about Reasonable Doubt. And how they had all of these issues going on in their marriage, but when they went and backtracked, what were they doing? They were in these sex groups and they was doing all of these things. And now you see why she is so sex crazed and why, this isn't enough for her because they opened up Pandora's box.
That is true.
It started making sense. And once we start opening up Pandora box, we're adding in all of this extra lust and all of this extra stuff that we do not need when my husband is enough and me as the wife, I should be enough for my husband, right? So I do think that we do need to have the conversation. We need to rip the Band-Aid off at churches and have the conversation. Now, I'm not saying that we got to, because everything can be said in decency and in order. We ain't got to be all explicit and saying, real crude language. But at the same time, talk and let people know that, hey, sex is normal. Sex is actually
right. Because it was a preacher that was on TV, and they asked her how was she preparing to get married? She was single, and she was like, I ain't got camera. It was on some. No, it wasn't on the pod. I don't know if it was on the podcast. And she was saying how we try to pray away. She said, no, don't pray away the feelings because God gave you the feelings for a reason and for you to use them. But you have to find other methods or other things to stay away from that. And I feel like you can do that. Because everybody's not sex crazy.
Right.
Everybody ain't always thinking about having sex or doing sex. And you can be abstinent and still talk to people. I ain't saying dating them and being in a very intimate and like this, like that, or whatever. But it can be done. But you do have to go through the extra measurements and, like you said, pray and keep this stuff away. But it needs to be talked about. And especially, I feel so bad when I see these young girls that just it just breaks my heart. I guess that's why I started doing the mentoring program. But no one's there to talk to them, or they're being dragged around with 5 or 6 other little siblings and their mama pregnant, and then you looking at them and then how they all, baby, and nowadays we had a weave ponytail. You got 12 and 14-year-olds looking like grown women. Stop it. Lace fronts, lashes, nails. Sweet 16, that's too much, y'all. That's too much for me. That's too much.
Yeah. But I think, but even and in that, which is so crazy, we don't want to talk about sex, but we over sexualize everything. So even in our girls, we're not talking to them about sex, but we letting them wear hoochie daddy shorts and crop tops, and they only 5 years old. And we're overly sexualizing them for no reason. Or, you know, like you said, now they got the lace fronts and you 12 years old. And you got lashes from here to Timbuktu and you 12 years old. Nothing is modest anymore. None of these things. And we're growing them up so much to where the fact that what you have to look forward to when it is time for you to do this. And then when these grown men hit on these kids, and let me say this, because baby, any grown man that's hitting on my child needs to be up under the jail, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you look through all this makeup, you know that's a doggone child. But I do want us as parents to also take some responsibility as well and be more mindful about how we, you know, just because they make it in their size, don't mean they got to wear it.
Okay.
That don't mean you got to buy it.
Listen,
you don't have to.
When I was growing up, baby, I know booty shorts coming in the house, no tank tops. No, ma'am. My mama did not play none of that. And even to this day, she would tell you to put some clothes on. Because growing up with my mom and dad, I had friends who would come over to the house. If they have on some little bit of shorts or like a little crop top, baby, she started them at the door. You go home and change your clothes because I got a husband at home.
Thank you.
You can't wear that on. That's because they already knew to put on a jean skirt on top of them little bit of shorts until we go to where we going. Because you couldn't do that in her house. And we couldn't even do that. And that was our daddy, because if you look at it now, and it's not inappropriate, but like they would say, like a man is still a man. And not to say that your dad or somebody be fantasizing of you, but like she didn't let us sit in our daddy lap at all.
Yeah.
And he gonna give us a hug from the side or whatever, but somebody just sitting in this lap, no, we didn't do. He didn't give us no baths. My mama did all that.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand that until I got older and realized how much stuff was going on around us. But you know, we could see that because she didn't play that. And baby, she gonna tell you, don't come like that. You go on change clothes, baby. They kept a skirt in the car because they knew they had to change clothes. But it's not like that now. You know, you see the girls with their tube tops on. And people like, well, that's because they got the shape for it. Just like you said, just because they make it in that size, don't mean you should put it on.
Yep.
I just hate that when the little girls try to be so grown, baby. You got time. Keep them as a little girl as long as they can. Because once it's gone, it's gone. And when I talk to them little girls at school, baby, they ain't giving them no good information.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by, you know, with all of this, and you know, even with the sex, because we're not talking about it, and you know, we're over sexualizing our kids and our girls. You know, once you start over sexualizing them, guess what comes next? The sex. It's coming next. And whether they do it or not, their mind is spinning. I'm interested. What is it? You know, Cardi B talking about it, Sexy Red talking about it. You know, all of these things are being talked about in song. You can't even watch a commercial these days without it being overly sexualized. It's sex in everything that we're doing, right? So I think that if we have the conversation, we can slow down the process. And let's be honest, slip-ups can possibly happen, right? It's real. Slip-ups can happen. It is a thing. But when you keep doing it, it's no longer a mistake. This on purpose.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's no longer a mistake. You're doing this on purpose. But if it is a choice, a situation where you did slip up, man, we both had a weak moment. At this moment, okay, we need to take a break. Because this wasn't, I wasn't supposed to be doing this. We weren't supposed to be doing this. We need to take a break. You know, let's do some distance, baby. I got to go fast. Hold on. You know, let me go back to God. Let's pray, things. But, you know, we don't win all around the world and child. And let's, you know, wrap it back up around. I don't say this. People are grown. People going to do what they want to do regardless. You know, whether you know, you on this side of it or across the street from it, people going to do what they want to do. But if we want to do things decently and in order, I think that it is kind of best to remove sex from the relationship. And also, not just because of soul ties, but I also think that you will be able to see that person for who they are. Because once you include sex, the veil comes over your eyes. And you no longer see the narcissistic man or woman that they really were. You no longer see, you know, the selfishness. You know, you no longer see all of their red flags because now sex has been introduced into it. And sex do change the situation.
Absolutely.
It changes. People stay in a lot of relationships because of sex, not because they even like them. Simply because of sex. So there's that.
However, yes, that is all true. But if you do slip and fall, just go back to God and tell him, Lord, I need you to help me. He's not gonna push you away. He's gonna bring you back. He's gonna give you a reset. And sometimes, even with that slip ups, you be more harder on yourself than the Lord do. This is my transparent moment. I have practiced abstinence for years. You know, a time, I ain't gonna say it was a home stretch run the whole time. It's sometimes that you do fall and you be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I did all this time, and you so hard on yourself to the Lord, like, okay, we cool. This time. We got it. Just don't just put yourself. You can look back and see where you went wrong. And see, I knew I shouldn't have, like you said, you let your guards down and you did this. Or it's just certain situations, but you can come back from it and you can hit the reset button for yourself, because God didn't threw it back. He ain't even thought about it no more. Because we be our hardest critic, but we done been so hard on ourselves. We done got through it. We done moved on. We mad. We counting up the time. I'm counting up the day. Lord, I was doing so good and such happened. But Lord, you can't do it no more. Like, can't do it no more because the baby listening.
We missed it last time. I agree. And I'll say this, if you find, and we can round it out, if you find yourself dating, if the man or female are, you know, on this journey of being celibate or abstinence, I do think if you find yourself dating someone that is not practicing that, establish your boundaries and stick to them. Establish it on the front end and stick to them. Because that's the only way it's going to work. And, you know, look at it in, you know, losing weight. I can't eat hot chips every day. And just because I go and work out, it's making it better. It's not. I'm going to have to keep my boundaries up. I'm going to have to be disciplined in that area. If I want to get down to this size 8 like I want to, I'm going to have to let these hot chips go. Where's my discipline? Where's my boundaries? And the same thing will have to go in this situation. The abstinence, you know, the boundaries, and don't, thank you, Holy Ghost. Don't let a devil in hell tell you you're wrong, corny, for wanting to abstain from sex until marriage. That is the devil speaking through somebody telling you you ain't gonna never get a man because every man wants sex. That is a devil, and that is a lie from the pits of hell. And I'm gonna end right there. It's a lie. Because that is not true. God is greater and bigger than them all. So if he promised you and told you that this is what it's going to be and how it should be, God is not a man that he shall lie, nor a son that he shall have to repent. Okay? So if God said it, it sells it. So don't let a devil in hell come and tell you and get you off of your rocker and get you off of your seat and say, don't nobody want no virgin. Every man wants sex with every woman. It is a lie from the pits of hell. And I'm ending there. I'm done. Because we hear that a lot. We hear it a lot. And it's a lie. It's a lie. A bold-faced lie at that. Okay? All right, you guys. So, do we need a part 2, or do y'all think we rounded this up pretty good? What you think, Dina?
Baby, G Baby said, and it is so, and so it is, G Baby.
So it is. Oh, no. So it is. Shout out to G Baby holding it down in the chat. Shout out to M Phrase. I don't know, girl. What's her? What you call her first?
Well, she got M Phrase, but it's Nalo.
Nalo, shout out to Nalo, also holding it down in the chat. Shout out to Gabby. What's up, friend? Girl, we're finna get off. You have to watch the replay. So shout out to Gabby. How are you? I think we rounded this very well. So we'll have us a good season finale. You got a little warm.
Got a little hot, you know. I was like, I ain't trying to get all my transfer, mom. I'm just saying that God is good. Like G Baby, who baby said. G Baby, who baby said part 2. Okay, G Baby.
Part 2. Okay, part 2. Okay, so if we were to do a part 2, this will be our season finale. What would we? What should we tackle the part of blocking out the noise of people who saying that sex has to be on the table? I wonder what, if we was to do a part 2, how would we do the, and G Baby, tell me what you think. Definitely drop it in the comments. What would part 2 look like if we were to do it?
Because baby, part 1 was hot, honey. Woo! My Lord, today.
Got you a little warm, a little hot up under the
little warm. G Baby, who baby said good question. So we're gonna marinate on that question. And we're gonna come back next Tuesday, baby, with the finale. But I think if G Baby, who baby say part 2, then you have to break down some of the what would that look like? What are some of the boundaries that you would have to set? What are you willing to walk away from?
Okay.
You better remember that because it just came out of my head. I ain't gonna remember that.
Let me write that down. I got my pen. They go my paper. Let me write it down.
Yeah, write that down. Because next week, baby, it's a long way from there. This 45 we hit, and I'll be like, you said what now? Why I go in the kitchen for? Oh Lord, I forget.
Yep.
Nalo said naysayers, yes. But I'm like, I'm grown. Because people, G Baby, who baby said, because people ain't talking about this combo in real life. Because everybody ain't ready. Everybody ain't mature enough to have these conversations. It definitely ain't going to be transparent to a certain extent. Because, I ain't going to tell y'all I'm going to be, but I'm going to tell y'all a little bit. Because I'm going to be 100 with you. Because I ain't, listen. Baby, listen, I was dating this guy. I was so tired of meeting him out places he thought there was a round way and down the street, babe, off down the street from my house. No, I'm gonna meet you there. No, you can't come. You can't come to my house. No, that was for a long time. A long time. Then, you know, like she said, they'll wait you out. I was like, man, I'm tired of putting on clothes and acting like I'm going somewhere up the street and it's just my house around the corner. Then when you start getting too comfortable, like, hey, but you gotta keep your awareness up. Like, look, what you gonna do? But then, like we said, let's still go back to the conversation. We ain't had those kind of conversations in the beginning, so it was what it was. You have to run it back, and they're gonna either be with it or
they gonna be out.
What? If ain't nothing happen, you ain't lost nothing but a little time. I'd rather lose a little time than lose a piece of me.
Yep.
So that's my transfer moment for tonight.
Okay? Yep. And you can't get it back. Okay. Well, all right, you guys. We appreciate you guys holding it down with us for this hour. It's so funny because we go over our 45 minutes every time, but the combo be getting good, okay? So we may, you know, push it out more than an hour since it is our season finale and we can end out on the bang. And Dina, do you want to have a panel and let people come up and have the conversation with us?
Yeah, we can do that for our season finale. So, you know, if y'all think y'all got what it takes and can stand the heat in the kitchen, because baby, the kitchen was cooking, then just leave us a message or a comment and let us know that you'll be willing to be a part of that panel. We need to get some guys, and we're gonna try to find. I got a couple of them in mind. We get some guys, different perspective on putting their spin on it and what they think about.
I agree. So we'll do open panel next week. When we do open panel, baby, let me tell y'all something. When I do open panel, people have it over here for 2-3 hours. I'm like, look, I told y'all we ain't gonna be talking this long, but somehow, some way, we be over here talking this long. So we will do an open panel. We will keep it at an hour and 30 minutes, though. We're not gonna go over the hour and 30 minutes. We do an hour now and do 30 minutes for open panel. Okay. So y'all stay tuned. We will see you guys next week to do part 2. We're going to talk about what do the boundaries look like in these situations. Okay. So I love you guys with the love of God. Thank you guys for being a part of this. We'll see you guys. Oh, and share it out. This was good. Share this out. Okay. We'll see you guys and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.